Hello, happy Tuesday, July 31st, the last day of July. I am still in Rexford, Montana, with the beautiful mountains and Lake Koocanusa behind me. And it's another beautiful day. It's right now probably temperatures in the 60s, I would guess. It's supposed to be warmer later today. But it's a beautiful day here on the mountain, thoroughly enjoying my time with the Lord here and loving what God's doing. So welcome everybody. Welcome Sarah from Louisiana. And I'll be sharing this. Welcome Vicky from Michigan. And let me share this with a couple of groups and we'll get started here. Again, I love the peace that the Lord has given me here on top of this mountain. It's just a beautiful place. It's a place where the Lord is making up for some of the stuff I had to go through. So it's enjoyable to be able to enjoy some things in life now that the hard part has come to a conclusion. So welcome everybody. Welcome Erica. Welcome Tina Marie from College Station, Texas. Welcome Maricela from Ontario, California. So anyways, I'm going to describe a little bit about the sequence of events, what happened yesterday. I know a lot of you were watching. I was on an Indian reservation, the Blackfeet Nation reservation that's south of Glacier National Park in Montana. Beautiful reservation, beautiful mountains, just amazing and awesome. And so it was a couple of weeks ago, actually no, it was a couple months ago that the Lord told me to come out west to start off in Montana and work my way towards Idaho, then Washington, then Oregon, California, and then down around Arizona, New Mexico, and back to Texas by early October. So he wanted me to come out here for a couple of months, and the Lord always connects a lot of people to me via them reaching out to me versus me reaching out to them. And so there was a woman named Linda that had reached out and wanted me to come to where she was at. Well, she couldn't get some of the local churches to have me come in and speak. Some of them said I needed to have it booked like a year in advance. And so couldn't have that work out. And so it appeared that it wasn't going to work out for me to be able to come there. And she was very sad and wanted me to be able to come. And one of the things is I'm here in the northwestern part of Montana. I'm very close to Canada. It's like you can't get much closer. I'm like, literally, you can see the Canadian Rockies behind me in the distance. And this Lake Koocanusa, goes up to Canada, to Alberta, is the province, I guess is what it's called. So anyway, it did not look like I was going to be able to come, and I know she was sad, and it was interesting when I drove here to Rexford, Montana, which is west of Eureka, last Wednesday. My GPS, instead of taking me the way I thought, well, I know it was going to take me away, like up, I think, Interstate 15, I think is the number of it. But it was supposed to take me through Cutbank, which was going to get me through the east part of Glacier National Park and then come around like through the middle of it and then come over to the western part and then be able to come up to Rexford. Well, as I'm driving, my GPS changes and it takes me off of the interstate. And I remember as I was driving down the road, I wasn't expecting to turn off for at least another 30 miles. And the GPS came on and said stop and turn. So I ended up pulling off the interstate. I missed my turnoff by like, I don't know, 500 feet. I actually backed up on the berm, which I normally would not do. I would go down to the next place, but who knows how long that would have been. So I decided to back up. And then I went ahead and turned off on the exit. And when I started going west, I ended up entering the Blackfeet Nation reservation. And then I turned north. And then I saw the sign that said Hart Butte, which I remembered that's where this woman, Linda, had lived at. So the Holy Spirit spoke to me and said, I want you to go to Hart Butte. And I was like, well, wait a minute. There's like no place that we can have it at. And I know financially that the number of people that were going to be there, there weren't going to be that many, and so I didn't know that it would be worth my cost involved to be able to backtrack 3 hours the opposite direction of where I was going to go on to Washington, which I'm leaving tomorrow to. So it just didn't seem like in the flesh that it would work very well. And I know I can't be everywhere. I can't be anywhere, everywhere. A lot of people are reaching out and want me to come here, there, everywhere, and I can't. I have to focus on where the Lord wants me to go. So on Thursday, I believe it was, of last week, I reached back to the woman, to Linda, and said, hey, guess what? The Lord told me to come. I'm coming. It doesn't make sense, but I'm coming. And so if you can have a place, and so she opened up her home. So then on Friday night, I'm sharing that I was going to be going to the Blackfeet Nation and the reservation, and there was an Amish man that came, and he said, I believe I'm supposed to go with you. And I was like, really? I'm like, okay, sure. He was a very friendly guy named Elvie, and very friendly, even has a good sense of humor, which I love people that have sense of humors. And so he said, yeah, he goes, I'd love to drive you if you want. And I'm like, really? I'm like, that would be even better, because I have to drive myself pretty much everywhere. So so we agreed. And then there was a woman named June, who was part Chippewa, that wanted to go as well. So all three of us yesterday made the trek over. Up, there's a horse over there. So you may hear another whinny. It just snorted out of his nose. That's Cobalt over there. Maybe I'll show you. He's kind of behind some trees right now. But so anyway, back to the story. We had a very enjoyable time driving over there, and we actually picked up one of the Blackfeet Indians was walking on the road, and it was like a good 20-mile walk to get back to where he was going from this town of Browning to where the houses were at, where he lived. And so we picked him up, he jumped in the truck, and drove him the rest of the way there. He mentioned that it would take him all day to go to town to get stuff. So he would walk there. They didn't have any cars, and had to walk all the way there, get what they needed, and walk all the way back, and it would be dark by the time he came home. So I just can't imagine, because it's like 20 miles or something in one direction. It was just incredible. So anyway, we get there last night, get to meet Linda and some of her family members and sister and grandkids, just a wonderful family. And had a guy that came up from Albuquerque, New Mexico, who was a Crow Indian named Montana, which is interesting. And just had a wonderful evening of worship and deliverance, and I could feel the presence of the Lord so strongly. And the 12-year-old granddaughter of Linda testified that she had watched one of the deliverance videos, in the past, and she got delivered, and how much of a difference it made, because it used to, the spirit of Leviathan would cause her neck to twist and to turn. And she was like, very cognizant and aware of that, and was concerned that those in her school would be able to see her head turning, and she couldn't stop it. So once she went through the deliverance, she said it was gone, completely healed. And then she didn't have the chatter in her mind anymore. So anyway, we were there. It was a wonderful evening. I was blessed. I was super blessed. And I'd given away some of my books. I just felt led to at the end. And they bought some books as well. But again, that wasn't like maybe a typical turnout that I would have at a larger venue. But the Lord wanted me to obey. It was important to obey and to do what he said. So anyway, then LB drove us back, and he actually bought lunch and dinner for me, so that was a blessing as well. Got to eat at Taco John's for dinner. I have not ever been to a Taco John's. It says Tex-Mex. I think I've seen a lot of Taco John's in Texas. I think they're in College Station, Houston, San Antonio. So anyway, I had a fun time. Had a great time. I know people there just really felt blessed. A lot of them felt the Lord's presence. So the Lord gave me a word. And then by the time I got home, it was like after midnight, local time and mountain time. So I was tired. I was very exhausted, ready to go to sleep. And I turned on my phone to check my emails and noticed that someone had made a donation. And I get probably a couple donations every day that come in. which is just a blessing because I used to like not have any, and so I am blessed with anyone that gives anything. If it's $1 or $5, it's as much as someone that gives me, $1,000. So ultimately I checked it and I was shocked that a woman from Wyoming who I had just met in person last Tuesday in Billings, who had also handed me a check there, a very sizable check that blessed me. She said that it really helped her husband. Her and her husband no longer strive and fight because the deliverance did what it was supposed to do. And so she's enjoying her marriage now. And she gave me a very large donation that I just couldn't process. I was like, what? And I actually messaged her. I said, did you mean to give me this much? And she said, yes. It's been a blessing. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm just blown away. So the Lord then spoke to me after that and said, see, Nelson, because you were obedient, I spoke to her and then you were blessed. So there's a lot of times we need to do things that the Lord wants us to do, but it doesn't make any sense in the physical, doesn't make maybe any financial sense. But when we are obedient, the Lord blesses us. And but we have to do the obedience without complaining. You can't be like those the Israelites that complained. They were getting freedom going through the desert, but then they started complaining to God, complaining at Moses for the most part. Can you imagine poor Moses getting complained at all the time, constantly, for 40 years before all the complainers died out? How sad was that for him? But that's what the Lord wanted me to talk about today, is that obeying the Lord without complaints will be honored and blessed. If you're complaining and just continue to complain out of your mouth, then you're not going to have the blessings. You're not going to be able to be honored. And we need to sacrifice at times, and we need to obey the Lord, because if we don't do that, then the Lord can't bless us. And there's a lot of people I know that have been hurt deeply by father wounds, by mother wounds, by sexual violations, and they end up hearing the voice of the enemy constantly. And the enemy causes them to focus on the negative and to not have faith to step out and to do what the Lord wants them to do. Maybe not to love people that are hard to love. Maybe not to go the extra mile. Maybe not to go and visit a place where it might cost you, $100 to drive there and come back. So there's a lot of things the Lord wants you to do, and He sees it. Doesn't matter if man sees it or not. If the Lord sees it, that's what counts. Lord knows our hearts and knows our minds. That's why there's a lot of people in churches that do things for show to make themselves look good. And the Lord knows their hearts. And it doesn't matter if their works look great and they're doing all this community service, all for adoration from people. If their heart intents are not correct, then they're not going to be blessed. So I'm going to read a couple of verses from the Bible. Exodus 23:22 says, "But if you indeed obey His voice and do all that I speak, then I will be an enemy to your enemies and an adversary to your adversaries." So how many of us have enemies that maybe have the spirits of Jezebel, Leviathan, that are lying about us, that are twisting the truth, that are coming against us? Well, it says here, if you obey His voice, then He's going to make an enemy to your enemies. So He is going to have your back, essentially is how I would put it. He'll have your back, and He will bless you in ways that your enemies can't stop. And He will do things for you that the enemies will not like, because the enemies have the enemy on them that are trying to torment you, trying to hurt you. The other thing I'm going to read is in Deuteronomy and chapter 28, starting at verse 1. A lot of you have heard of this before, but it's good to revisit this. It says, "And now it shall come to pass, if you diligently obey the voice of the Lord your God, to observe carefully all His commandments, which I command you today, that the Lord your God will set you high above all nations of the earth. And all these blessings shall come upon you and overtake you, because you obey the voice of the Lord your God. Blessed shall you be in the city, and blessed shall you be in the country." Right now, I'm in the country, clearly. Blessed shall be, and blessed shall you be on the reservation. If you're, on an Indian reservation, the Native American, I know that it's very oppressive. You can feel the sadness, the depression, the hopelessness there. But again, as you obey the voice of the Lord wants to bless you, and in ways that you can't even figure out, you know. And so, blessed shall you be in the city, blessed shall you be in the country, blessed shall be the fruit of your body, the produce of your ground, and the increase of your herds, the increase of your cattle, and the offspring of your flocks. Blessed shall be your basket and your kneading bowl. Blessed shall you be when you come in, and blessed shall you be when you go out. The Lord will cause your enemies who rise against you to be defeated before your face. They shall come out against you one way, and flee before you 7 ways. The Lord will command the blessing on you in your storehouses, and in all to which you set your hand, and he will bless you in the land which the Lord your God is giving you. The Lord will establish you as a holy people to himself, just as he has sworn to you, if you keep the commandments of the Lord your God and walk in his ways. So we need to keep his commandments. Again, being pure and spotless before the Lord is important. There's a lot of people that are not pure and spotless. You know, I'm writing a book, trying to get it finished here. And it's important. There's a lot of people that are not behaving the ways behind closed doors as they are in front of the church, in front of their friends, and in front of their families. It says, then all peoples of the earth shall see that you are called by the name of the Lord, and they shall be afraid of you. And the Lord will grant you plenty of goods, in the fruit of your body, in the increase of your livestock, and in the produce of your ground, in the land of which the Lord swore to your fathers to give you. The Lord will open to you his good treasure, the heavens, to give the rain to your land in its season. It was interesting. They said that it oftentimes doesn't rain here. Like last year, it didn't rain from like middle of May until September, like several months. And when we started doing the deliverance session Friday night from here, it poured down rain. And they're like, wow, it never rains here. So that was very cool. You shall lend to many nations, but you shall not borrow. What was that? And the Lord will make you the head and not the tail. You shall be above only and not be beneath, if you heed the commandments of the Lord your God, which I command you today, and are careful to observe them. So you shall not turn aside from any of the words which I command you this day, to the right or the left, to go after other gods to serve them. And then it goes on to say that if you don't do what the Lord commands, then you'll have a lot of curses on you. And that's what we've seen. There's a lot of people that bring in generational curses only because you were born into this world and your mother or father or grandmother, grandfather had done things that were opening the door to the enemy, and that can bring that down the bloodline. You know, the iniquities of the fathers are visited upon the 3rd and the 4th generations. So that's exactly what happens. So anyway, when you get yourself positioned to take away the legal right of the enemy to torment you with your thoughts, with the going through the deliverance prayers to renunciate Jezebel, Leviathan, Ahab, the 3 strong men, then that's huge. That's huge, because now you're able to hear the Lord's voice and then do what the Lord wants. And then you can be obedient to the Lord, and then he can bless you. And again, there may be things and maybe times when you do things where it doesn't make sense, especially financially. And I'll say this, when I had started, when I had separated and then I didn't have any money and I had a lot of debt, there was a guy that I was working with, ministering to, had a problem with drinking alcohol and a lot of father wounds, and he'd been molested. And I was helping him a little bit here and there, driving him different places to help him, and actually had him get a job with my son. My son was a manager at Burger King, and he hired him, gave him a good chance to get his life back. But it cost me some things. It cost me some gas that I couldn't afford. It cost me occasionally I'd buy him some food, you know. I just couldn't not help him. That's just what was in me. And so financially it didn't make sense. So there's a lot of times you do things that financially don't make sense, but the Lord sees your obedient heart, and he'll end up blessing you in ways maybe you don't see immediately, maybe you'll see it over the next few weeks or months. But the Lord wants to bless you. He wants to honor you. And when you do that out of an obedient heart and you don't complain, that's the huge thing. Don't complain. Don't be calling your friends and complaining about this and lamenting about that. No one likes to hear people that complain, and there's a lot of people that are in the church that are constant complainers. They need to speak life, not death. Yes, there's a time, maybe your confidant that you have, you can speak a little bit of what you're going through, but I even know people that have the Jezebel spirit that will lie to their own family members about their spouses and say things that are not even true, and then it turns their their relatives against them, because that spirit of Jezebel Leviathan will not allow them to see the truth. So they will blame a person that is innocent, that is good and godly, and then cause their family members and friends to think bad things about them. So that's so important to get delivered. Then you can walk in the obedience to the Lord. You can hear his voice clearly, and then you can be blessed and enjoy life and have fun. God wants you to have fun. He wants you to have a good sense of humor. There's too many people that are so religious that, in fact, we were talking about that last night at the Blackfeet Nation at the end. It was just, fun talking about, certain times, like I play some songs that are not religious, that are secular, that have meanings, like we talked about yesterday. I can see clearly now the rain is gone. They're the religious people who might be like, harump, 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 we can't watch that, we can't listen to that, that's Satan music, we can't do that. And I'm like, really? I'm like, have you listened to the words? They're very good, they're very poignant, they're very spot on. So on target. And so we don't want to be religious about things. We want to enjoy life. We want to have fun. I'm sure when Jesus was here, he joked around a lot, said, come on, guys, and the guys are like, what are we going to do? These Pharisees hate us and da-da-da-da-da. And Jesus is trying to, I'm sure Jesus oftentimes is like, okay, here comes another Pharisee. Let's get into another debate because that's what they want to do. And every time he could outthink them and outspeak them every single time because he knew their hearts, how wicked they were, and he turned things around on them. So it's kind of interesting. You think about the woman that was caught in sin, and they were trying to stone her, and the Lord, Jesus started writing in the sand probably the sins that they have done, that they were involved in, and then they one by one walked away and left her alone. And so again, there's religious people in every sect, in every part of this world, people that are not obedient to the Lord. They just want to keep their powers and positions. So anyway, we want to enjoy life. We want to have fun. We want to enjoy what God has, whether you have any money or no money. I know what it's like to have no money. I still have debt that I'm paying down. But I had gone for a long time where I had no money for a couple of years, and just there's certain things I couldn't buy at the grocery store because I didn't have it, and I know what it's like. So anyway, let me show you. I think I see some horsies. Let's see some horsies. So let me unplug this. Cobalt, where are you at? Cobalt. Up there. There's Cobalt. Right there. You can see the Backheim. Here, boy. Cobalt. Come on, Cobalt. Come on up. He's hiding. Whee! Come on, Cobalt. Well, maybe I'll give him some time to come back up. Anyway, I saw Cobalt this morning, and his mama, Winona, that I had rode, when was that, Friday? I think it was Friday. Again, we've seen deer here in the back, and I was walking yesterday and saw some deer on their walking path that they have, the river walk, and I was told by this lady that have to watch out for grizzly bears, because they have grizzly bears, especially when they have like salmon that are swimming, spawning, whatever they do. So anyway, see if I can go this way. Maybe you can see. Yeah, now you can see a little bit more. There's Cobalt. Hey, Cobalt. He's eating something. And they see bald eagles here. They have a lot of ospreys that are out here. Gonna miss this place. Gonna actually be crossing that mountain over there on my way to Spokane, Washington. I'll be in Spokane on, see, I'm leaving Wednesday, so tomorrow. Yep, leaving tomorrow. We'll be in Spokane. I'll be there through Saturday, August, what was it, 3rd? Anyway, it's Friday morning, 9 o'clock. We'll be doing a Freedom morning, 9 a.m. at the Davenport Grand Hotel. And then Saturday morning, we'll do another one, another session. And then Saturday afternoon, I'll be doing a training and equipping. And it's through the 2018 Summer Encounter, Sons and Daughters. So there'll be other speakers there as well. So anyway, if you are in the Spokane, Washington area, there's some people coming down from Canada. Some people I think are driving 9 hours, so it will be a great, great time. And then I'll be in the Tri-Cities of Washington, southeastern Washington, Pasco, Kennewick, and some other city. I will be there Sunday going to church. Sunday morning. I can't remember the name of the church, but I know that it's Dawn Casanova Lineker's church and Sherelle Barrera. So I'll be there Sunday. Hey, Cobalt, come on up here. Ah. Well, let me go back here. This is where he roams around. They have about 16 acres here, I guess. So, just a beautiful place. Yay, Sarah, Waking the Lion Within. Love that book. Helps us to be bold and confident, like a lion. I think they have some fires. That's why it's a little bit hazy. But some fires over on the other side of the mountain. So pretty here. Up there, there's the horsey. Yay, you can see a little more. Hey, Cobalt. He's eating something. Hey, that is Winona. Hey, Winona. Whee! There's Winona. Yay! Come here, Winona. Come here, girl. Winona. Aww. Winona's talking to me. Where you going, Winona? Whee! Get a wee again? Yay. I think Winona likes to be on Facebook Live. All righty. Well, I think that's about a wrap. So enjoy yourselves today. Be obedient to the Lord and let Him bless you. Let Him bless you greatly. Alrighty, I will let you guys go. Have fun, enjoy your lives, be obedient to the Lord, and trust in Him. He's doing all things, working all things together for your good. All right, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.